825 Fox Park Drive. I have reviewed the budget, but I apologize if my numbers are, I'm working from the draft budget that was online, so if some of this has been corrected, I apologize. Also, I realize some of these suggestions may have been more appropriate last week, or 2 weeks ago, but I was unable to make that meeting. I had a question on page 219. There was a category called telecommunications. If I was reading the charts right online, there was a column of what the city administrator asked for, what the Ways and Means Committee approved, which I believe under telecommunications, both of those were $2,000. But for some reason, in the third column of the draft budget, it was listed as $8,000. Again, my numbers are from online, so I was just wondering what the difference was.
That's correct. The
Okay.
MIS director recommended $8,000. It was cut to $2,000 by myself, and then Ways and Means approved the $2,000. The savings was associated, the cost reduction was associated with the new phone system the city purchased a year or so ago.
Okay.
And if you see the 2009 expenditures in that category only ran about $1,700.
So the $2,000 is that's the figure that's included in the budget. Is that
yes,
correct?
the third
Okay.
column. The way it works is as you work further right, you get additional approvals. You start with the department request, then city administrator, then Ways and Means, then Board of Aldermen.
Okay. Okay. My other point tonight was, as was previously mentioned, the citizens rejected a tax increase, and again, my information is based on a lot of what I've read in the papers, which is a lot of what most of the citizens have seen. It seems that I know we've cut staff, especially police and fire, down to what seems to be a bare minimum. We seem to have cut the city administrative staff drastically. In reviewing the entire budget, I saw some things that I had questions about. Basically, if the citizens aren't willing to pass tax increases and we've cut our staff, I think it's time that the board start cutting other non-safety oriented services. For instance, I found in the budget where we provide $12,000 to supplement the senior trash pickup. I only put out one trash can every other week for my family. I recycle quite a bit. I don't understand why the city is continuing to subsidize trash pickup simply on an age-based requirement. I realize that they're only allowed to put out so much trash and they have special bags or cans to qualify for. But given our budget crunch, I really didn't see the need to continue that program.
Can I interrupt
Go
just
ahead.
for a minute? What you're looking at there is an expenditure line. There's also a revenue line for that
Okay.
same amount. So the city
Okay.
doesn't pay any money for that trash pickup. The residents come in and they pay that money up front, and then it gets paid to the
All right.
hauler.
Thank you for clearing that up. That's just why I'm asking, because these were some that I didn't understand.
Sure.
The other item I saw was street sweeping. I didn't really understand why we needed to sweep our streets. It was a $7,000 expenditure. Again, there may have been a revenue for that. I don't know.
There's no revenue associated with that line. Street.
That was just one item.
Wait a minute. He
Go
wants
ahead.
to explain
Oh, I'm
the street
sorry.
sweep.
I thought you were finished. I'm
Street
sorry.
sweeping is a requirement as part of our NPDES permit, which
Okay.
allows for clean stormwater. We were required to sweep the streets once a year, which we do. It also helps with some of the streets that have the microsurfacing where
Okay.
that's
All right.
removed.
Okay, thank you. I was, as I went through the budget, very impressed with what seemed to be a bare bones budget. I think that it would do the Crestwood citizens a great deal of good to go through their own budget, and it's a fairly simple document to follow. Given the dozens of pages that it comprises, I only had 2 or 3 questions on it. So I'm very impressed with you all for coming up with this. But again, I would stress that the city has one of 2 options. Start cutting necessary things that people will start noticing, so they'll realize that what dire situation we're in, or ask for more taxes. Some other things that, this is a personal one of mine, I don't have to particularly leave my house on a snow day. I would not mind if the streets were not plowed. that would certainly get people's attention if their streets were suddenly not plowed. Now, the police chief and the fire chief may disagree with me and say, well, that's a safety hazard and they can't get their vehicles through and all that. I understand that. But at the same time, the citizens of Crestwood don't seem to be getting it. They don't seem to be understanding that there's not much more to cut without them starting to feel a big pinch. Not having their streets shoveled in the winter would surely show them that we had to cut something, and that's what went. I would also urge the board to consider taking a page from the Lindbergh School District, the way they do things. They have often asked for a no tax increase renewal of a tax. Prop S soon expires. I think it would go much easier with the citizens if we could advertise that by extending this tax, we're not increasing their taxes any. They're already paying that. We're just extending a sunset clause. I realize that it would have to be worded differently because Prop S had a specific purpose to it. But the dollar amount that we take in from Prop S, I think it would go over better with the citizens if we could say we're not increasing taxes, we're merely extending what you're already paying. Thank you for listening to me. I appreciate your hard work.
Thank you. Oh, yeah, Alderman John Foote.
I thank you for your statement. Just a little bit of background information, if I might. When we set up, I'll get it yet. When we set up the budget and we went through it, it was very, very tight. It has been very tight for the last 5 years. And it's been scrutinized heavily. In 2008, as I said, you decided you didn't want a 35-cent tax per 100, and we've cut since then. At the point we're at right now, we're able to provide the services just barely. We have deferred building repairs, street repairs, anything that can be hung back or deferred has been deferred. And eventually that's going to come up and bite you because you cannot delay the repairs. But the city of Crestwood at this particular point in time, if you go online to the St. Louis County tax bills, the per 100 that each one of our sister cities paid is quite a startling number. If you live in Webster, your per 100 tax is $8.98 per 100. $8.98 per 100. If you live in Afton, it's $8.32 per 100. If you live in Kirkwood, it's $7.34 per 100. Sunset Hills is $6.21 per 100. Gee, Crestwood's right at $5.97. That's a difference of over $3 per 100 between what this city pays in taxes by the residents and Webster. Afton's $2.53 more. Kirkwood is $1.37 more. And Sunset Hills is 24 cents more. And that's when you consider Prop S of 20-some cents that does nothing but pay down the debt. So yeah, this has been a bargain. It's been driven by the mall. The mall's gone. When the mall let, we had $100 million value in property. That mall sold for 17.3. We're down $83 million in property. And when you look at what we've dropped out of revenue, it's in excess of a couple $1 million a year. Yes, we've stretched it. Yes, we've screamed and scamped. But the people sitting here along these two tables are city employees. Their efforts have contributed over $2 million in grant money that they wrote. If the city has needed things, they've written grants, where our costs are only like 20% on the dollar, 20 cents on the dollar. Grant Road was one of those examples. Spellman is one of those examples. Party Road Bridge is one of those examples. Fire equipment. It's all been through the effort of our employees writing those grants. They have time and time again proven their worth in working and building and bringing in grants. It is time for the residents to start paying attention. It's your city. You want to run it pretty much like a bargain basement, that'll happen.